Good afternoon. It's it's PB, and we're back as we continue our walk as Christ. Acts of the Regenerate would be our overall topic, and our subset, Walk as Christ, Part 4. Okay, so up until this point, we've covered we must change our minds through the washing of the Word. We obviously changing our minds for the benefit of God's glory and His kingdom through the washing of the Word. We have discovered our affections must be set above. They must be placed in the heavenlies. And this is totally indicative of what Christ exemplified for our lives. We have discussed we must hold each thought captive to Christ, binding the law upon our fingers, being very aggressive in the pursuit of that changed mind through the prayer, through the Spirit, through the setting of affection above. We have learned we must be concerned, that is, appointing our attention to the things that Christ would deem worthy. We must be concerned with what Christ was concerned with. What ultimately was Christ concerned with? His Father, His will, His glory. And not Jesus' will, His Father's will, just for clarity. Now, these are aside from manifesting Christ manifesting His Father's will in an actual walk, these things have all began in our mind. Changing our mind, our affections, what we hold mighty in our mind. These are all inanimate. Okay? How do we manifest our walking as Christ? How do we manifest it? How do we bring it to life? How do we give it fruit? How do we give it a heartbeat? How do we give it substance? How do we do this? How do we manifest our walk physically, not just mentally? How do we move from the confession to the producing of our confession? Titus 1:16. Oh, I thought up again there. 1 second. Let me turn. Titus. Gentle Parker. Titus 1:16. This is Paul's epistle to Titus, according to the faith of God and His elect, acknowledging the truth which is after godliness. Verse 16, they profess that they know God, but in works, in their walk, they deny Him. They have no walk with Christ. They are not walking as Christ. Listen, they profess they know God. They profess they know God. Knowledge, mental, head knowledge. They profess they know God, but in works they deny Him. Look, so what does this mean? This means that there is a visible output of faith that is observable, that is manifest physically in the one true God. There is a physical output of your faith in the one true God. You can make it visible. And for the naysayer, what is Paul basing his observation or judgment on? If there should not be a manifestation in the profession of knowing God. If you profess to know God, you must be walking as Christ, God. You must be walking as Christ would do in His Father. How can, listen to this. So how this is how and why this is important is, listen, please listen. If someone were to tell me, Parker, I have a headache, there is no real physical, depending on how major or minor the headache is. Let's pretend it's a minor headache, okay? There's no physical output. There's no physical manifestation that would prove to me, oh, he is telling the truth. He has a headache. Someone tells you they have a headache, you either have to believe them or not believe them. There is no physical output to manifest what they are saying to be true or false. Now, what if someone were to tell you, hey, I have a major upset stomach. I have a major stomach ache. This would be manifest in a few ways. Physically, okay? Frequent trips to the restroom, throwing up, gripping the stomach. You understand? These would be physical manifestations of an internal condition. The internal condition is made visible from the output. This is the same as, from the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. This is the same as, where your treasure is, there your heart will also be. Now, how do Christ and work relate? Well, let's go to John 17:4. John 17. I need to go the other way. John 17:4. It says, I have glorified thee on earth. I have finished the work which thou gavest me to do. Why is it important Christ mentioning he glorified God on earth? Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I say that a lot. Okay? Because it's true. All right? If you can't glorify God on earth, you cannot glorify God in heaven. I have finished the work which thou gavest me to do. All things eternal were accomplished, complete, sealed at the cross. His earthly work was complete. He completed the work from which thou gavest me to do. His earthly work was complete, accomplished by him fulfilling the requirement of the law, and was made finished. It was sealed by the cross, his death and resurrection. And Christ says it again in John 19:30. It is finished. It is finished. What is finished? Christ's earthly work making all things eternal complete. Salvation, redemption. Everything was accomplished at and through Christ on the cross. The cross initiated, now this is getting a little off topic, but I want you to understand something. The cross initiated the end times because all things are finished now. All things are finished now. So what's next? The end. The end. Now, we're still in the age of grace, yes. Christ's cross initiated the end times. We are now in the end. It set all things in motion. Christ's cross set all things in motion toward Christ's return. Paul also tells us to work out your salvation. So work it out. Your faith must be made manifest from the outpouring of your heart. Where is your treasure? Christ said in his prayer, his high priestly prayer, I have completed the work from which thou gavest me. We must work out our salvation. Fruit is produced, and if you produce fruit, you get pruned, purged to produce more fruit. We must be found laboring. Also, real quick, Christ says that when a woman laboreth, it's right here. When she is in travail, when a woman labors, she has sorrow because her hour has come. But as soon as she has delivered the child, she remembereth no more the anguish, for the joy of man is born into the world. All right? So, Paul tells us to work out our salvation. So work it out.